What's going on, everybody? This is a request that so many of you have asked me for, especially with the new expansion that came out a couple of weeks ago. And that is, what are the best bang for my buck legendaries from Teppen's newest expansion, that is Adventures of a Tiny Hero. So I wanted to take some time and talk about this with you really quickly. Now, full disclosure, this is a rip from a live stream, and I did consult with the chat, so this isn't just my straight opinions. I have been influenced in some way, but I do think we've got a well-rounded shot of all of these legendaries. So I would like to break these down by color, and there's not a ton of them to talk about, but some of these just aren't very good. So let's go straight into red. Now you have three options here. Now the option that I would normally tell you under normal circumstances, if you're going to craft a red legendary, that would absolutely be trump card, because as it stands right now, it's a 1 MP cost action that removes your entire deck from the game, but you gain 7 MP. Now keep in mind, whatever you have in your hand in your EX pocket, that stays, but the remainder of your deck goes. This card can fit in pretty much any deck that is capable of running red. You've probably seen it in Dungeon and some standard Shinku builds. Now the issue with trump card is that it is on the targeted list of cards that are going to be adjusted in the next balance patch that's coming up in the beginning of August, we're guessing. And most of the time, at least Gung Ho has a history of when they touch cards like this, it's definitely going to be a nerf. So normally I would say trump card is the way to go if you're looking for a red legendary to craft, but because it is on the chopping block and we don't know how heavy-handed they're going to be, I'm going to hesitate and say avoid crafting trump card for now. Looking at the other options here, we do have the Dread Queen, but she's very, very specific. She fits in a very specific type of deck, and while I believe that there is a way to make her work, she is not nearly as effective as the legendary Lady. That's Determined Hunter Lady. So she's a 5 cost 2/7 human, so naturally she fits into dual color decks, which adds a lot of playability. Now when played, if an enemy demon unit is on the field, she gets +2/+2. That doesn't seem all that great because demons themselves aren't that popular, at least right now, but that's just icing on the cake. The killer effect is when a friendly human unit is placed on the field, you deal 4 piercing damage to a random enemy unit. That is huge and can be very, very monumental with the right type of hand. So if you are a red player and you're looking for a red legendary to craft with your season pass discount, I would definitely choose Determined Hunter Lady. Now let's take a look at green, and this is, I would consider it a toss-up from my perspective. The one that really lags behind here is the legendary Chris. Now he also fits in that human archetype, and he is low cost, so he can fit in dual color decks, but he's just not as good as Curious Cat Feline or the Trinity. Now Curious Cat Feline can get a lot of value. He is a dual tribe, so he can fit in kind of those decks with the new Epic Nero, and he can potentially have a ton and tons and tons of MP boost. But the Trinity is just all around a much better card. So Trinity is 6 MP, legendary green action that says all friendly units gain +1/+1 for each different tribe among friendly units on the field. So naturally you want to maximize the dual tribe units that you can. Now Feline is one of them, but the Epic Nero is a lot cheaper. He is dual tribed, and with the right setup, this can be a huge buff to your field, and you can create a pretty big wall that it is going to be difficult for your opponent to climb. So if you are a green player, it's kind of a toss-up between Feline and Trinity. However, I think you will get more mileage out of Trinity. So let's move on to purple. Now purple for me, I feel like is a really, really easy choice. Earth Mother's Magnetism is kind of meh. It's really, really expensive for what it does, and there's going to be a lot of situations where you're not going to get total value out of it. Some people have said that they believe that Volcana is really, really good, but I haven't seen this card do a ton of work. Now, if you want to get a lot of value, and this is a card that I actually crafted tonight, that is Nevin from Devil May Cry. She's a 6 cost 4/2 demon with shield and spillover. Now, whenever another unit dies, she gains +2 HP. Somebody in the chat earlier this evening said she's basically a better hunk, and that's a great way to describe her. On top of that, she has memory 4, and when you hit that threshold, she deals 4 damage to the unit in front of her, and your hero gains life equal to the damage dealt. She's just really, really good. She fits great in the chess kind of archetype if that's something you're looking to play. Side note, I know you guys want that video. I'm still making some tweaks. I'm working on it. But if you're a purple player, Nevin is the way to go. Last, we round out with the black element here. I think that we can dismiss Verdugo pretty quickly. He's kind of meh, very, very situational, and he can get shut out pretty quickly. So that leaves you with two choices here. Now, this one right here, I was initially very happy to pull, but I haven't done a whole lot of play with Maruto Mundo. And that's just because while he has a lot of text on him, like he seems like he does a lot of things, in terms of the value, it's just really hard to get. He's kind of sluggish to get going, so you know, that's just kind of a difficult thing. Whereas if you want consistent value, Return of the Heretics is more than likely going to be a better choice for you. This kind of fits in those style of self-mill decks that a lot of Wesker players are gravitating towards right now. So it's a 5-cost action that returns 2 black units from your graveyard to your EX pocket with their MP costs halves rounded up. And if your deck has 5 or less cards in it, those units get +2/+2. So for those self-mill decks that can come online pretty quickly, this can be really, really good. So if you were looking to spend your legendary discount from the season pass, and if you didn't get the season pass, shame on you, because it's super, super cheap and the discount pretty much pays for itself. So that is my recommendation in terms of legendaries for Adventures of a Tiny Hero. If there's some other little, you know, tips and tricks and guides that you want to see me cover, be sure to let me know in the comments. That's the best way to get in touch with me. You can also find me on Twitter and on Discord. I love you guys. Don't be stupid. Wear your mask, and I'll see you next time.